Howdy fellas, Frankie Dave back here again on YouTube. I have another build I'd like to share with you I've done in years past. I put my old spat away, so I went and grabbed this one out. This is about a 20-year-old kit. I got this about 20 years ago. This here is a monogram 1/48 scale B-26 Invader. Now the B-26 Invader was designed by Douglas Aircraft Company as a high-speed medium bomber, but there was a B-26 Marauder out there built by Martin. So the United States Air Force they redesignated it as an A-20 or an A-26. It's successor of the Havoc. She has very large engine nacelles, as you can see, and is powered by two Wright Cyclone 1700 horsepower motors each engine. About the size of a B-25, 68 feet wingspan. Crew of 4. Has a very spacious bomb bay and carries enough bombs. This is my A-26 Invader, known as the Blackbird. This is the Korean War version. I remember when I was a lad in Vietnam, they used these a lot too in Vietnam. As you may have seen, they had auxiliary fuel tanks on the wingtips. These are very fast, nimble aircraft, made for low-level attack. There's a little pretty petty girl insignia on there. That's pretty good for nose art. As you can see, those large engine nacelles right there, they sure give that pilot a lot of protection. This is the underside of my A-26. No bombs. There's a bomb bay door. A lot of detail in that bomb bay. Same thing in the wheel wells. The forward wheel well. It's getting old. I just pulled this out of a box. There was different versions of this aircraft. They had the cannon nose version, and they had some that had 20 millimeters on the nose transparency. But this is a bomber version used during the Korean War. It's a handsome looking airplane, it is. Here's a top view of it. Has a red wing walks on there. All high gloss, using DuPont lacquer. I like using lacquer finishes more than enamels. But to be quite certain that the airplane is primed, it uses a barrier coat against the plastic when you're applying lacquer finishes. A very highly detailed model it is. I believe in the 1/4 inch scale. I believe this aircraft was probably the last that monogram ever produced in a prop-driven aircraft. They call her the A-26 Blackbird. Used for night attacks only. I have no unknown certainty of what air group it was attached to in Korea. It was probably stationed in Japan. I can remember seeing a lot when I was during my hitch in Vietnam. They used them as low-level strafing aircraft. A lot of them carried Agent Orange. And some of them carried napalm. By the latest 1967, they were stricken from the United States Air Force, and only a very small squadron of the South Vietnamese Air Force still kept them until the war's end. They were a very versatile airplane. They could be used as a bomber, a fighter, a reconnaissance ship. A very compact plane it is. The top turret is remote control through the gunner on the aft section of the fuselage, the transparency. Supposed to be a periscope sticking right out of here. Well, the gunner has good visibility to fire his weapon against any target that's in view. There's an aircraft just like this down at the Air Force Base in Zion, Dayton, Ohio. Matter of fact, it had the same. The same airplane is modeled here. I imagine Bert Kinsey is the editor of Sports Scale and Detail publications, and he probably used that airplane as a basis for the monogram kit. Again, I have not seen this airplane in the model shells for a while. It can be found again on eBay. I bought this at a hobby shop. They had about 3 or 4 of them in there, and I said, wow, I haven't built one of those in a long time. I remember having a monogram kit just like this that was a box scale. Very small, and came with rubber tires. This was a 1954 issue kit. I haven't seen that kit in many years. So anyway, the last of the prop-driven aircraft, this was the last airplane that monogram ever produced in coordinate scale. And 1/72nd scale versions, there's a lot out there. Airfix makes an excellent one. And there's probably, you probably had a couple more out there that companies I'm unaware of that make them. But I do know Airfix makes one of these. And Airfix, they do a very good job on it. It's a non-functional model. The whole thing works on as a prop. They turn. And what's really neat about this model is, first, it really it gave the modeler a better perspective towards the tires. The tires on this model were flattened on the bottom that give the illusion that the airplane is, the weight of the airplane is sitting on the tires, which is the first for this type of kit. I believe this was it wasn't a Pro Modeler series, right before Pro Modeler was involved, but I just liked it because it was black, and I just bought it, and not too familiar with the aircraft, but I do know that it is the successor to the E-20 Havoc that they used, which is the Boston bomber. And there's always predecessors out there, the successors, and this was used throughout the Korean War and during the middle stages of the Vietnam War. A lot of them now are in the hands of collectors, and what's left from memorabilia is more or less just for model builders like me and the U.S. you great fellows out there who collect these type of vintage aircraft. It's a very good model. It builds very easily. Not very many parts to it. It can be done in about a good week. There's a lot of paint schedules can be done on it, though. There's a lot of reference out there. And the grandfather clock is giving me the cue again of getting off here, so I don't want to do my boundaries, fellas. I appreciate you guys viewing my builds of the past and my build I'm doing now. And I appreciate very much for your replies and your comments. I'll keep you guys loaded with models. You guys got the patience and like to look at them, I'll bring them to you. And please subscribe. And may God bless. And thank you for tuning in. And we'll catch you on the next YouTube presentation. Thank you, guys. Bye, fellas.